going on, ladies and gentlemen? Welcome on in. It's 1TS Daily live here at One True Sport. How's it going? I'm your host, Zack Heydorn from Brasserie Media and from Sports Illustrated. And it's been a bit, it's been a bit. Hopefully everybody out there that celebrates Thanksgiving had a wonderful Thanksgiving. If not, hopefully you just had a good few days and a good weekend and ready for, the final stretch here through the holidays and into 2025. So here we go. If you're watching on YouTube, thanks so much. Glad you are here. If you are watching on Twitter, appreciate that as well. Or I should say X if you're watching on X. God, I really hate saying that, but I guess that is what it's called. But thank you if you are doing that in both places. It'd be a big help if you guys can just hit like on this video on YouTube. It helps us out with the algorithm and make sure we can get in front of more eyes. And same thing with on Twitter. If you could like that, it helps us out big time. And I thank you in advance for that. We've got a lot to get to today. There was a pay-per-view on Saturday night. Seems like an eternity ago. But alas, there is one. We got a big 10th anniversary celebration tonight for the new day. And of course, other happenings on Monday Night Raw that we have to cover. So we will do all that today in our 25 minutes together. We're live here. If you're checking us out for the first time, we're live here every day, Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday, and Friday, right around now, to talk the news of the day in wrestling, just to have a quick hit fix of wrestling chatter. We're not asking you to spend 3 hours with us or an hour. Just, hey, 25 minutes every morning. We check in, we hang out, we talk a little wrestling, and then we move on with our day. The live chat is open for you guys right now, so hopefully you guys take advantage of that. I also have super chats enabled and ready for you. So if you want to dictate the conversation here or ask a question or talk about a specific topic or maybe a match that you watched or whatever it is, if you drop us a super chat, we will make sure to get to that on the show today for sure. If not, that's fine. Any contribution helps, but if not, just jump in the live chat and I will monitor that throughout the show. And we'll try to get to whatever we can. If you do send a super chat in, I will make sure to get to that. The boss is in our live chat already and says the new Bears coach, Brian Urlacher. Oh man, dude. Boy, I'll tell you what. Yeah, right. We have not been here for a show since that debacle of the Bears on Thanksgiving Day, and Matt Eberflus, their head coach, fired. Boss, I don't know if you're kidding or not, but either way, Brian Urlacher is not the guy. I think it's time for the Bears to have like a coach that has like coached before with some success. Now, I say that every time, and I'm almost 40 years old, and, not once has that happened. So, well, I guess once. But it was, Anyway, Urlacher? I don't know. We'll see. That's like Michael Jordan coaching, right? It just doesn't seem right. For as good as he is, and for as good as Brian Urlacher was, it doesn't seem right. But I appreciate the thought, and I appreciate you thinking about me here as a Bears fan, as a lonely, depressed Bears fan in a big city of Chicago. Oh, it's rough times. All right, but what wasn't rough, to me anyway, was Survivor Series over the weekend. What did everybody think of that show? So if you're in the live chat, drop in, thumbs up, thumbs down. What you liked, what you didn't like about Survivor Series. I thought it was a definite thumbs up show, but also just like so a thumbs up show, but a straight up show. Like there was not a lot of bells and whistles to this. There was no big angles. There was no big returns. There was no kind of like heel turns or babyface turns. Like it was just like a solid pro wrestling show top to bottom. Yeah, I mean, not all the matches hit, but the big one did. The main event did. It was a one match card, as far as like okay, why are people really tuning into this? Was the Civil War Games match, Bloodline versus Bloodline faction. So, I mean, when you look at it from that perspective, like I think it's hard to give it a thumbs down because wrestling was pretty good top to bottom. The main event delivered and was a really good match, start to finish. You have different kind of tentacles like coming out of that main event where clearly WWE is going to go from a storytelling perspective. And so, yeah, that's what this was. The women's War Games match I thought was a little rough. However, the audience was into it. The audience was super into it. They were especially into like the Liv Morgan Rhea stuff. I mean, and that's a good sign if you're WWE. That's a good sign that, all right, this story that you've been telling for the better part of 2024, and the story that you will be telling as you head into 2025, as you head into the Netflix era, as you head into all of that, the Liv and Rhea stuff is still working. It's still clicking, and they still have, a major finish to go with Rhea finally beating her for the title. But what the War Games match told me was, it still got juice. Like if you didn't think it had juice, it does. It does. I mean, that finish the audience was waiting for, they popped for. That's what people wanted to see happen. And to that end, I thought they got the match right. Some stuff really bothered me about it, though. Like the tandem spots off the top of the cage. Woo, that was awful. I mean, that was awful. Tiffany Stratton is up there, like basically like waiting for Io Sky, to hit those moves at the same time, and she looks so silly doing that. Like, why are you're looking to get your cue from her, and she's not even on your team, right? Like conceivably, if you were Tiffany Stratton, you'd want to go, all right, I'm going to hit mine first so I can run over there and push all those women out of the way, so Io Sky lands, on the ground. Like it just was a silly, like convoluted, like overly choreographed mess. That spot, I thought the weapons stuff was fine, like it's War Games. So you have to, to me, you have to expect weaponry, lots of weaponry. But like, I just thought the use of the weapons was very, very weak, like tremendously weak. The bat, like Liv Morgan, like swinging the baseball bat, and like Rhea Ripley, like selling those shots to the stomach. Like, I don't know. That was terrible. Like that would have like bashed like crumpled up some organs, if that was real. And it just came out very fake. Nia Jax with the chairs. Oh gosh. Boy, that was really bad too. So they didn't get a lot of it right. But the ending they did get right. And for everything that I thought they got wrong, you can't really grade the match without bringing up the fact that the audience was into it, like start to finish. So, that's who you want to please if you're the women in that match. And I think they got that part right, even though it only kind of worked for me. We have a new WWE United States champion. Shinsuke Nakamura defeats LA Knight to win the title. That was a weird match, and a match that, like, it existed, it happened. There wasn't a lot to it other than, Shinsuke Nakamura, really. That, it's weird to say out loud, but that match, like the fact that it was booked at all, because Nakamura won the title, and because Nakamura dominated so much, it was like that match solely existed to like make the Nakamura character, like put over his new gimmick really, really strong. And I just didn't have that on the bingo card for the end of 2024 or 2025. Like I just didn't. I mean, Nakamura is always a guy that was underutilized in WWE, and like a lot of that was old regime. And a lot of that was just Nakamura and himself, just not putting in the performances that you know kind of expected from him coming over from New Japan. And ever since that happened, they kind of just fell off with him. And this seems to me like a specific. Okay, we're not going with him to the top of the card, but we're going to give this new gimmick some life. We're going to give it some juice. We're going to give it some energy. We're going to give it some focus, and we're going to give it some wins that it needs to breathe and potentially grow. And I think that worked. Sean is in here saying Shinsuke, I think, should have won, and he did, which I liked. Eddie bringing up a good point. Nakamura only won the title because WWE is going to Japan. It should be a short title reign. I mean, yeah, that's always something, that the WWE likes to do. But I think it's more than that, Eddie. I mean, and not that you're wrong. I mean, this could be a part of it. It's not an accident that he comes back at this time with the Japanese tour, coming up soon. But he didn't just win the title. Like he dominated. He dominated LA Knight, which is he's a top 5 babyface on SmackDown. That to me is relevant. I think that's relevant. And I think that speaks to Eddie, that speaks to a bigger overall kind of direction and focus for Shinsuke Nakamura than just, all right, you're going to go over here, so hang on to this for a little while, and then we're going to give it right back. I mean, they may do that, but I think this is something that you want to explore. I mean, LA Knight, for him as a babyface, I think you want him on the chase. He's held the belt for a while, put him back on the chase, and there you go. I mean, and he also could just have regular feuds. I mean, Kevin Owens is going to need something to do after Cody Rhodes. You've got that. You've got all of that there for you if you're Knight. So there's a lot of options, but I thought it was interesting. The Intercontinental title match I thought was fantastic. I just love that match. And I'm not, you guys know me. I'm not a big triple threat match fan. I'm just not. It tells me that usually when they're booked, it screams, hey, we don't think we have enough for a singles match, so let's add in somebody else. And now it's 3 people, and it's better. And I rarely think that it ever is. But this match was really good. I mean, the hard hitting action, it felt like a fight. When you look at that match and you look at the Women's War Games match, which came across as very choreographed and like a dance. This was just straight up, we're going to fight each other. And I liked how everybody got a piece and everybody dished out a piece too. Even Ludwig Kaiser, took it, but gave it out. Braun Breaker, of course, took it, gave it out. Sheamus, same thing. So it was a balanced match in that regard. Braun Breaker, when you look, go back to 2020. I'm not advocating for you to go back and watch NXT 2.0, okay? That's not what I'm doing here. But then you have to take me at my word. If you watched NXT 2.0 in 2021 when it first came out, and you saw Braun Breaker, and then you see him today, it is so different. I mean, his in-ring is so different. I would not call him an in-ring guy now by any means, but boy, he's certainly come a long way and now can hold his own in matches with guys like Sheamus and Ludwig Kaiser and others. So he's really developed his game, and he was put on a pedestal in this match, and he won the title or retained the title. That had to be the move, and now he goes on. But I thought this was a really good match, second best match on the show for me. And yeah, just an excellent triple threat. And then you had Gunther and Damian Priest. Gunther retains, no surprise there. I thought this match was slow. I thought this match was slow, a little plodding. Not bad, truly not bad. I don't mean to say that as oh, this is an awful match. I just felt that it was slow. And you gave Gunther a lot. It was kind of a story of him kind of getting the mojo back, if you will. And because of that, it kind of had to be slow, but that doesn't change the fact that it was slow. And then we're back again with Finn Balor. Like, I didn't really care for that either. I thought, just tell the story between Gunther and Priest. Tell that, end that, move on. And they decided just to add another Balor thing in here. So I don't know what that means. My guess is it means we're going to get some kind of Saturday Night's main event match between these two guys. And that'll be fine. It's a good Saturday Night's main event match, but it's like this. It's just gone on for too long. And then you had War Games, Bloodline versus Bloodline, or I should say, Civil War Games. Zach, This was fantastic. I really thought they did a good job here. The dynamic within the original Bloodline was the story here, even more so than like Bloodline versus Bloodline. I think like it was about the dynamic of the team, and especially with CM Punk there. And I thought they played into that really well. I thought they really articulated the drama between Roman Reigns and CM Punk very well. I thought that was palpable, and that made the match like tick for me. Outside of the fact that it had its big spots, it had its big moves. The Bronson Reed, we've been talking about it for weeks. Bronson Reed tsunami off the top of the cage. Hopefully he's okay. Jimmy did his splash off the top of the cage. And I just thought it just clicked. I thought it worked. I thought it just was a good, kind of chapter, a good piece of this whole Bloodline puzzle. I like how like Punk and Reigns not getting along, it didn't cost them anything. Like they were able to be like, begrudging teammates without being like high school drama queens, right? Like they coexisted and it worked fine, and now they're going to go their separate ways, kind of until Punk cashes in that favor that Paul Heyman owes. And I also like how Heyman was the guy to like bridge the gap. They were kind of on opposite sides. They kind of were about to like really kind of go at it and argue, and then Heyman came out and brought them together for the final fight of War Games. That was a good use of Heyman, and that's a good use of like the wise man in this story. So everything worked here. The one thing that I'll say two more things about this match. First being, I don't know where you go now with the Bloodline. That was such a clean finish. Everybody hit their finisher on Solo Sikoa, and then Reigns drops him with the spear. Like that's kind of like period end of story, right? I mean, I don't know where else they could go. That said, I think Michael Cole did a disservice to the finish of this match when he kind of called out openly like, oh, Roman got the win, but look, Solo Sikoa is still the tribal chief, and he's still got the Ula Fala. And it's just like, wait a second. Like, yeah, you got to sell that differently. That has to be sold as like, man, Roman just won this match. He's either the tribal chief again, or like now he's got a fast track for that tribal chief moniker. Like something that tells you that this match really mattered a lot to this storyline, instead of just, oh, this happened now, but really, everything's the same. Like I thought that was a big miss on the part of Michael Cole, especially given the fact that the finish was so definite and so straight up and so clean. Like I think you wanted to put Roman over bigger on commentary to let the audience know that like he is back, or he's like, one little step away from returning to that role. And they didn't hit that note. They hit a totally different note, which was, okay, Soul lost this, protect. And Solo doesn't need that protection. You can't beat him, dust him the way you did, and then hope for protection. It's just not. Yeah, it just doesn't work that way. Sean's here said the storytelling was really fun between everything involved and everything and everyone. Yeah, I agree. I thought they did a nice job. I thought they balanced a lot, and this delivered. This very much delivered. And again, here's hoping Bronson Reed's okay. Reports indicating that he hurt either one or both ankles on that splash from the top rope, or the tsunami from the top rope, or top of the cage, even higher than the top rope. It was crazy. I mean, it was crazy. It looked crazy. But I just hope he's okay, because that it looked kind of nasty. Byron is in our chat. It says your Balor and Priest are not advertised for Saturday night's main event. Yeah, not yet. But we still got tonight's show, and we still got next week. I fully expect to see a Balor and Priest match for sure. Yeah. I mean, it just seems to me it makes sense. I mean, there's some chatter in the live chat here about a triple threat match at the Royal Rumble for the title. Gunther, Priest, Balor. Man, I don't know. Again, it screams, well, we don't really have a contender for Gunther, so let's just put both these guys, both these guys in. And maybe they do that at Saturday's main event. Maybe that's why you had Gunther attack Finn Balor. I suppose that makes sense, but it's not the direction that I would go. Not by a long shot at this point. All right, so that's Survivor Series. If you want more from me on that, you can check us out at Brass Ring Media. I've got my full written report with match ratings up there on our Substack newsletter. Just go to Brass Ring Media Substack. You can search that just in Google. It's the first thing that comes up. You can subscribe for free, and you get all of our Brass Ring Media written content. We'll also be doing a member-only review of Survivor Series a little bit later today. Everybody can check that out as well as members. Just head over to Patreon, patreon.com/BrassRingMedia. It's only $4. And we're trying to get as many people in the door as possible ahead of WrestleMania season. So give us a shot. I think you'll enjoy what we offer, including, the Survivor Series review in depth. Thank you in advance. Once again, it's patreon.com/BrassRingMedia. All right. Tonight on Raw, we have quite a bit going on, but the first thing, the big kind of talking point, is the New Day. New Day celebrating 10 years in WWE. That's crazy. Especially when you have like Vince McMahon booking for you, where everything is like new toy syndrome for him, for not the entirety of that 10 years, but a lot of it. There's a really good piece up this morning. If you haven't checked it out, there's a really good piece about Big E in the Players Tribune, and Big E wrote it. He wrote it. I just read it before going on the air, did a little reporting on it for SI. And I just encourage everybody to check that out. Just search Big E, the Players Tribune, and you'll get the column coming, or the story up. It's awesome, and it's a real heartfelt, transparent look inward. From the perspective of Big E about his run, about his life. About New Day, and just about his career too. So I mean, it's really all encompassing. It's a big read. There's 15 minutes or so to kind of get through it and soak it all in. But I highly recommend everybody do that. I'm looking forward to the segment tonight. For the 10th anniversary. I think, first of all, Big E is going to be back. I would assume for this. And so it's going to be really good to see him on television again. Obviously it's a bummer what happened to him with his neck injury and him not being able to wrestle anymore. But it'll be just good to see the dynamic of those three. Plus, you have all the drama from last week between Kofi and Woods. Is Big E going to try to bridge that gap? Is Woods going to let him? Is Woods going to do something to Big E? I mean, you've got all these different storyline angles that are at play that should finally explode like in this segment. I don't think you want to sit back and expect them to have this really nice lovey-dovey kind of 10th anniversary segment. I don't, I would not expect that. I think this is the spark that lights this whole feud, and now we go. Sean says here, this should be a disaster in a fun way. I think they'll do a really nice job with this. Big E being back on TV in that sense will be cool. Yeah, exactly. Yeah, and here's the thing, like based on last week with Big E and Kofi Kingston, like what they did, that was on like the high end of my expectations. I just didn't know if like you knew these guys had chemistry together on the team, but I just didn't know, what the chemistry would be between Woods and Kofi as adversaries. And you got a taste of that last week, and you're going to get more of it tonight. And I think that's a good thing, a good sign, if you're going to kind of want to continue this feud for a while. It clearly that, they're building towards a WrestleMania match between those two, if not more matches than that. And this is going to be the spark that lights everything. So very much looking forward to that. Also on the show, we've got quite a few matches announced. The New Day, we just talked about that. R-Truth is going to wrestle Pete Dunne. The Women's World Champion will team with Raquel Rodriguez, so Liv Morgan and Raquel Rodriguez against Io Sky and Kairi Sane in a tag team match. We have the opening round triple threat for the Intercontinental Championship tournament on the women's side. Dakota Kai versus Katana Chance versus Shayna Baszler. Whoever wins moves on to the semifinals of the IC title tournament for the women. So that's cool. And also CM Punk will be on hand to speak. It's his first time on Raw since Bad Blood. Or since I guess the night after Bad Blood. So who knows? Who knows what Punk will have to say? I think we'll get some insight as to where Punk's going to go from here. If he's going to have a match at Saturday Night's Main Event, I think we get it announced here. I think you start to see some of his direction going into next year with what they do here. Seth Rollins is obviously going to be, somebody that people keep thinking of. But, they also put a lot into Punk and Roman Reigns too. So what do they pay off first? I don't know. We'll have to see. But I think tonight will give a lot of indications into that. As far as that IC title champion or women's IC title goes, Sean says here, another title, not a fan, but I'm open to seeing what they do. Yeah, it's kind of where I'm at this point, Sean. Like, there's too many titles. There's no question about it. But there's too many titles before this title too. So yeah, it's what they're doing. And so now, yeah, we got to see what they do and what you got to really see what level star gets this title. And same thing with the Women's United States Championship too. Like what level star gets that? I think you want to use these belts if you're going to have them as differentiators in terms of where you're at on the card for the people competing with them. So I think, Dakota Kai, Katana Chance, Shayna Baszler, that makes sense. Bayley on the U.S. title side of things and SmackDown, that doesn't really make sense to me. So we'll see. We'll see what they do. But we'll have a full review of the show tomorrow right here on 1TS Daily, like we do every Tuesday, really. So be here, and we'll wrap up on that note. I'm checking my notes here, and I think we're good to go. So thank you. If you want to check out more of my work, as I said, check out Brass Ring Media. There's 2 places to do that for free. On YouTube, we'll be live a little bit later today. So check that out. Brass Ring Media on YouTube. You can subscribe. You get all of our work, and all of our video shows and all of our live content lives on YouTube. It also lives as podcasts. So check that out. You can download us wherever you go and bring us with you for free. So search Brass Ring Media on YouTube, Brass Ring Media, where you get your podcasts. Would really appreciate it. Would love for you guys to subscribe. And I hope that you do. You can also check out our written work on Substack. Search Brass Ring Media Substack. It comes up. You get all of our free written content right to your inbox every single day. And I think it's, some of the best stuff out there that you could want. So keep it locked there. Brass Ring Media. All right. Until then, thanks to everybody who tuned in. We'll talk to you tomorrow. Have a wonderful, wonderful Monday. See you later.